Yo, what's up, Ear Ground? What's up, world? My name is Shingirayi Sabeta, otherwise known as Mau Mau. I'm a Zimbabwean hip hop artist. I've been at this since the 90s, man. And yeah, born and raised in Zim. I was born in Rusape. Grew up all over the place. This was during the war, which the young cats won't even know what I'm talking about, but that was the war of liberation. Come independence, family moves from the townships to sort of the burbs, get to interact with different types of people, went to high school here. After that, went to university in Canada, then got heavy into hip hop there, then came back here, man, and started just doing my thing. Hip hop was not really a thing. Of course, it had been there, but locally, there was a few acts out. I think it was like Pieces of Ebony. I think those were the cats that I remember the most that were doing things. Then I just, because I had a passion for just communicating with as many people as possible in Zim, I said, yo, I've been writing all these songs and doing all these songs in English. How about I just flip it and like do it in my own language, like Shona, and nobody had really been doing that. And I think that's what a lot of people know me for. So I did literally like a single, and then I did the English version and then decided to do the Shona version. Released it, and the rest, as I say, is history. It just blew up, in terms of just critical acclaim, and I guess people just jumping onto it and feeling like I'm talking to them in their own language. Like even my own grandma would come and say, okay, I kind of understand what you say. Like people that never listened to hip hop. So for me that was exciting. After that, I did an entire album in Shona. Of which I'm still very proud, because it's not easy. When you're using just your own language, it's not easy. And also just trying to keep it clean, trying to make it not only just, it was also about having a message. So for me, I then adopted the name Mau Mau, which was based on the name of the revolutionaries in Kenya from the 50s that were fighting for liberation in Kenya. Because I'm also Pan-African in my thinking, that's where it came from. And, I've just been listening to a lot of reggae and just Black consciousness and Black history, all of that. And that still even now comes out from the things I do and the things I talk about. So that's me in 2 minutes? I don't know, yeah. Let me put it this way. Hip hop music was not something you could do a career off, in the late 90s, early 2000s, So because I'm also somebody who was creative and I'd studied business, I was in marketing, I was working in marketing and advertising. So I started working for Coca-Cola. They moved me to South Africa. So while I was there, I was actually just, the money I was earning, I was funding my music love, right? So that's when I actually produced a full album, produced a couple of albums while I was in South Africa. It was all self-produced, man. I was like learning how to, make beats. This is when things are starting to get digital, but like all my old stuff is still on some kind of tapes, man. Like DAT tapes, DAT. Digital audio tapes. So, then we got into the CD phase. So while I was in South Africa working, I was still working on my music, but it wasn't a full career because I already had a career, in business. Yeah, man, I've just always been doing music because I love it. It's impacted people, the things that I'm doing. I get the love for it. I didn't make much money from it, but, for me, it was part of me just expressing who I am as a person and as an artist. Yeah.
The song Mau Mau, how much did it change your life? How much did it impact you?
Yeah, so, I guess you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, here I am, I'm just recording stuff, and I had to fight to record that single, right? I used to if you remember the late, great Fortune Parutsa, he's the one who actually worked on producing the track, because I didn't know how to produce. I didn't know. So the guys who had computers and knew how to program beats were like the kings, right? So I'm like, I've got this song stuck in my head. I'm like, yeah, I need to produce. I've written the lyrics. I know I can rap it, but I need a producer, So, long story short, I keep knocking on his door at his flat in the avenues where he used to stay. We're like recording in his living room. If anybody ever recorded with him during those days, right? That's where you'd record. You'd walk in there, you're recording in the living room. Forget what's happening next door, Then you trust him to fix it, after that. So in terms of impact, man, it was just the love, I guess, from people saying, yo, respect. I think the payoff was just respect and recognition from people. But luckily for me, I never let it get to my head. And it wasn't like now, where I think the guys that are making it, they've become real stars because, media is much, we didn't have YouTube at that time, so people could only see you maybe on TV, if they watched a specific music show on a Saturday or on a Friday. Whereas now there's just multimedia. So the exposure, but people still knew about me. So I'd bump into people, hey, what's up, Mau Mau, Chug Chug, so that was great, but it didn't get to my head. And I mean, I just, luckily I've always just, stayed on the humble and, but it was just nice because of the I guess, appreciation that I got, the impact, and pushing the art form forward, and other people now coming up and doing stuff in Shona, so inspiring other artists. I mean, that's really the pleasure I got from it. And for me, ultimately, it was also just selfish, just me being able to express myself, and sharing my ideas, my thoughts, my philosophies. Yeah.
And who shot that video?
The video for Mau Mau, who shot? So it's this cats, man. They must forgive me because I have to go dig up the names, but it was guys that were working at ZBC. They used to work on one of the music shows. So I knew they had the cameras, so I came up with a concept, sold it to them, and I don't know how much I paid them, probably very little, right? But they were down with doing it. What I was doing was just new and fresh. And so, yeah, we went around, locations, and I basically directed the shoot. They do the production. Yeah. So, big life-changing moment. I really, I guess after years of kind of just exploring different, I guess, philosophies or whatever, beliefs, whatever, I became a born-again Christian. That was probably late 2000s, 2010, I came back to Zim. So I think it was in 2013, I started working on material. 2014, it took a while because I was trying to reconnect, find out which producers to work with. I ended up actually working with Begotten Son, Kudam Sasiwa. He's actually the guy who produced that. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but there's guitar on that track, which was done by Silent. And he was still coming up at that point, and I mean, he's a big shot now. So it was nice we're collaborating on that. And then I did some remixes with some of the cats in the Christian hip hop, sort of sphere. Ilse, now known as Courtney Antipas. Man, I'm forgetting the other guys. Bright 360. Dude, I'm forgetting the other guys. But yeah, respect. And, we just been. So I did that album. I think the full album came out in 2016. So it's been a minute. We did some shows here and there. And yeah, that's what happened. That's the last album I did full time. Yeah.
Are we expecting any new music?
Yeah, most def, man. I mean, I always tell people, because I always bump into people, oh, what's happening, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, I'm going to get back into studio. But, life has been going on. I've got a family now, just responsibilities. So sometimes it's hard to focus, just on the art, because it takes a lot. I think if you want to do your art properly, it takes a lot. So it's always that sort of paradigm, right? Artists, we're always fighting for time to do our own thing without being too selfish. And, you've also got other responsibility. You've got people to take care of. So, but this year, I'm definitely getting back into studio because I need that creative outlet, So I think I've been neglecting it for a while. It's time to get back in there, see what's going on, bring it out. I know some people appreciate it, some may not feel it, but I've got people that enjoy what I do, so I definitely want to keep sharing that gift with the world. Yeah.
Now, looking at the music scene, hip hop is dominating.
Yeah.
2024, 25.
Yeah.
When you guys started doing hip hop, is it something that you ever imagined? And how do you feel when you see that there's a whole community of hip hop artists?
Yeah. So, to be honest, the first feeling I have is I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous, but not in a bad way. But I'm happy, I see these young cats doing it, that there's actually an industry now. It's not anything I would have ever imagined. I mean, I was in my 20s. I was in my mid-20s when I started doing this, right? When I did. So you're not even thinking beyond 2 years from there, Of course, you're hoping that things will get bigger, but we didn't have an industry. There was a few acts, you could count them on your fingers, right? Couple of producers maybe floating around. And I think what I love now is that it's become a real business. You've got guys with managers, they've got stylists, they've got video makers, and we didn't have any of those kind of, but, we're all born into the time that we're born into, and we all have a role to play. So I'm really happy for these guys that are like really benefiting from it. And my only request is that they stay true to the culture. Of course, hip hop is just splintered into so many different genres now. I'm a product of my own time. I still feel, I guess, the stuff that I grew up listening to and stuff that I grew up doing. There's obviously new music that I appreciate. But, in a way, I feel like sometimes the essence of hip hop has been lost, But it is what it is. And, I think it's up to those that are coming up to decide whether they want to take it back to its essence or they want to take it somewhere else. Yeah. Oh, you know what? And here's the thing, again, I get on the business side. A lot of artists are not great at the business side of things, but it's definitely available on iTunes. I think I need to check that it's on Spotify. I don't think it's on Spotify. I also have it on Bandcamp. If you look for shingirayi.bandcamp.com, I've got all my content up there. So you can find it. So you know what? I think I'm just gonna do like a major publicity push on Facebook or something to let people know, you want my stuff, this is where you find it. So you can actually go there and purchase it. Support an artist. Don't just download it free. It's like 99 cents or whatever. So I think on iTunes it's there. If it's not, I'm gonna be sorting that out. I think ASAP. Because this was all before digital when we did this, but definitely it is available online. Yeah.
And the video, is there any chance that
Yo, the video, bro. I need to go to ZBC and I need to write a letter to ask them for a copy of the video because this was on these analog kind of tapes, right? So I actually need to get it. As soon as I have it, Earground is gonna be the first to have it because then you can let everybody else. Because even I don't have it, So yeah, I'm trying to sort that out, Yeah.
Is there anything that you think could have done?
Man, I think that's it, bro. But shout out to you, Plot. Shout out to Earground. Anybody who loves hip hop for supporting and just keep the love, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And how did you feel? I mean, after we made that post and there were 300, 400 people that were commenting.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Yo,
that people still love?
Just honored, man, and just the affection and the respect. I appreciate it. It's nice to, an artist. I've always said all an artist wants to do is share their art, and that's for other people to appreciate. We don't make art for ourselves; we make it for other people. So the fact that people still appreciate it, just lots of love, man. And I hope they appreciate the new stuff because obviously I've evolved as a person, as a human being. I'm a father now. So my thinking might have changed or whatever, but I'm still the same person. I'm still the same artist. So I hope they appreciate the new stuff that'll be coming out. Yeah.
And are we able to? And I'm going to throw in the deep end. I know people are craving to just hear just a bit, 30 seconds song.
Of what? Of the new stuff?
Mau.
Oh, Mau Mau.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. I haven't performed that song for years. I'm a bit I can't remember which artist it is, man. There's some artists that they shoot a movie and they never go watch the movie that they've shot. Wow. Not saying that the music, I want to do that, but because I've moved on so much, but yo, Ndiani Mau Mau, Chi Chinonzi Mau, Kondinga Wawana Kupiko wa Mau Mau, Dio M-A-U-M-A, another U. I can't remember the rest. Why? Because I also used to do it in English, right? So I started mixing the English and the Shona. But there's a lot of stuff. I can't pull it off right now. Yeah. Yeah, you put me on the spot, man. Yeah, I'll go home and rehearse it properly. I'll come back and do the whole thing. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
No, thanks, bro. All right, man. One love. Peace.
Mundima yechipiri wamwe vako vakusiya patino macha muno takashinga pachisoja mufambo murefu faneka wachemen mao anobuda muno